on Saturday, whilst I was away, there was a rally, as you both know, and there was a rally where there was lots of coverage saying things like this, which I'm hoping you can see on screen right now, that says Tommy Robinson leads hundreds of football hooligans in London marched demanding Met Police Chief quits. And I thought, oh, I wonder, what did those hooligans look like? So I had a quick little butchers on social media to find out what these hooligans looked like. And I came across these people and I said, MSM, violent far-right football thugs spotted in London on Saturday. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Eunice, but they don't exactly look like the sort of people that are going to take you in a back alley and have at you, right? These don't look like horrible hooligans to me. They actually look like patriots who are concerned about what's happening to their country.
Yeah, and anyone who supports Tommy Robinson is either a racist or a right-wing extremist. And these people are the ones that don't talk about Islamism. I actually was in contact with Tommy Robinson, and he actually invited me to the parade. I couldn't make it, unfortunately, because I was away on a business trip. But he has another one on the 27th of July, and I will make sure I'll make it to that one. And I was thinking about this the other day, and Tommy Robinson exposed the rape gangs in Luton,
Yeah.
and the mainstream media, like they are doing now, they went after him and basically took him to court, freezed his bank accounts, made his life hard, and they basically spent years trying to throw him in prison. And then all during that time, the rape gangs in Luton grew. So I'm like, why are you going after someone that's exposing the truth? You can have whatever opinion you want on Tommy Robinson, whether you think he's a racist or not. I'm not going to comment on that. However, when someone speaks the truth and he's right, you can't be vilifying him. And this is, again, the mainstream media. They try to vilify Nigel Farage. They try to vilify Tommy Robinson. They try to vilify Trump with all his indictments,
Yeah.
And I feel like the people are waking up to it. I really don't think people fall for this anymore. I really don't.
KF on YouTube says, I was one of those hooligans. I was there with my 73-year-old mum in her mobility scooter. Yes, I'm sure your mother was more pissed than a parrot, KF, and shouting, hurling abuse at people and all these other things that hooligans do. And Dave Devon says, what, those hooligans in wheelchairs on crutches, those hooligans, yes, how terrible. Wild in the Woods says, I watched it. It was mostly the elderly and women. And then, AD says on Twitter, 2 right-wing people arrested, 9 left-wing people arrested. Tells you everything you need to know. And Alex, this is the point, right? Week in, week out, every Saturday since October 7th, we have seen the most awful dregs of society unleashed upon the streets of London, Manchester and elsewhere, who are called for violent intifada, who have called for jihad on the streets of Britain, who have said the state of Israel shouldn't exist, the world's only Jewish state. All of these things, time and again, they have said politicians have blood on their hands for supporting Israel, for supporting actually Jews not being massacred, and all of these other things. And that's fine. But, you gather on the streets of London as a peaceful protest like this one, and that gets more of a press pushback than the hate marches that take place every weekend. It just shows that we have not got an even keel when it comes to the biased press.
Yeah, I mean, look, I put a tweet out the same day that I was actually at a D-Day event Saturday, Sunday, so I wasn't there either. But I put a tweet out going, I was looking at BBC News, Sky News, every single media channel looking for reports about the thousands of people showed up to that protest. Not a single article, not a single paper or media outlet reported on it. And that tells you something, doesn't it? They were waiting for something to kick off. They were waiting for violence. They were waiting for something to be said that they could report on. And of course, as soon as they did report it, they called them all football hooligans. Now, it just goes to show, doesn't it? It just goes to show how biased they are. I actually put underneath my tweet pictures of the BBC front page that had the thousands attend pro-Palestine rally. They did multiple times on their headlines. But as soon as there's a counter protest to protect British culture and attack the 2-tier policing state we've built, they are utterly silent. To me, that screams agenda. it screams agenda over and over and over again. And I
It
don't know
does.
where it's coming from, but it to
Yeah.
me,
Oh,
the fact
hope
that
not
every media
hate.
outlet was silent was, yeah, hope not hate.
Yeah,
Some of the biggest
that's who's
funders.
on
Yeah,
screen right now. They posted the racist thugs plotting violence at today's Tommy Robinson demonstration. Well, the thugs
things that
didn't
didn't
do a
happen.
very good job. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
these imaginary thugs, they didn't do very much. You know, all of these people here just saying they're here to show support for the nation state. This woman here, she doesn't exactly strike me as a hooligan.
Yeah.
And you know,
Can I just say something though?
of
Can I just
course.
quickly say something? Look, I just feel like we've become so divided. We have people like coming, and all power to these people, but we have them coming with a Union Jack, with a flag which I actually love a lot, and St. George's flag. Oh, there was an Iranian guy in between. You know, there is some
Oh,
Iranian flags there in between. If you go back a
Yep.
bit,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah, him, that
Yep.
one. That's the Iranian flag. So I actually saw a lot because
The
I'm
old
Iranian.
Iranian, the old
Ah, there it
Iranian
is.
flag,
Yeah,
All the
there it
Iranian
the
is.
old
flag.
one.
So it just shows you that the Iranian community is actually very supportive. But at the same time, I feel like we've become so divided. We've become divided between Palestine and all these people asking for Sharia law. And we have people that come out, and they're mostly white, let's keep it real, and they, you know, defend the Union Jack and the St. George's. And I just feel like, where's the middle ground gone? Where's the middle
Mm,
ground gone? Like, okay, you can feel for the plight of the Palestinians. I feel sorry for the dead kids in Palestine. Okay, but I don't support Hamas, you know, and I
Yeah.
don't, you know, call for the destruction of Israel, you know, and it's become very, and it's quite sad to see because this is happening all over the world. You know, everything's become so divided, and I hope in the near future we can all unite. But there's a counterweight. I understand what you're saying because you know we had a liberal wokey left and the marriage made in hell between Islamism and the woke left, and now we have the right wing, more conservative people. So we are a counterweight to that. And I feel like with
Mm.
time, hopefully, we can reach a middle ground because the way society is going, we're not really far from a civil war.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a depressing point, but yes,
Yes.
there are lots of comments about actually hate, not hope. Oh, sorry, hope, not hate.
Mm.
Yeah.
And on the basically exposing them, right, and saying
Mm.
links to Labour and all these other things, which I
Yeah.
think is correct. And Pete on Facebook says patriots, not anything
Mm. Mm.
of the opposite. And do you know what? Looking at all this footage, it's actually just nice to see the Union Jack. You know, it's nice to see the
Yeah.
national flag at a protest in our capital city. You know, you don't see these at the hate marches. If you actually were to take a clip of the footage that you're seeing on screen right now, which by the way is by a guy called Harvey Walton on YouTube, Harvey Walton, and he's posted this footage, and it's beautiful footage. He's done a great job. But if you were to juxtapose rather, God, I can't speak, juxtapose this footage with the footage of the hate marches, right? And the actually the horrible nonsense that's spouted there, you would find that one was incredibly peaceful and the other was completely hateful and completely not tolerant and all the rest of it. This was, and despite that, it is vilified throughout the British press, and I find that really, really depressing and not given a fair hearing. I must say a shout out to my colleague at GB News, Michelle Dewberry, because I think actually she has given it a fair hearing on her show, and she has spoken out against much of and pushed back on much of the rhetoric around this, and I think that's right, and I'm glad that she did it. And it's nice to see. I haven't been on there, so I haven't done it. But yes, Chunky Monkey on YouTube says Tommy Robinson was exposing two-tier policing. And I think that's correct. I think he actually did that. I think he did a good job on that. Any comments on this? Any final comments, boys?
No, I just
You
for
want to
me,
go ahead?
I just like to say that this was possibly the most beautiful event I've seen in London for years, actually. Entirely peaceful. It demonstrated the best of Britain, best of British people from all cultures, actually. All cultures and races showed up there to counter protest this absolute abhorrent scenes we see every Saturday. And I encourage more people to go. Hopefully this event being so peaceful and so wonderful encourages more people to go, do you know what, I'm going to go to that, because I do know there's a lot of hesitation because of the name that Tommy Robinson brings and the slandering he's received in the press. So a lot of people feel, oh, I might lose my job if I go to that. But I hope after that demonstration on Saturday that people feel confident.
People say actually
one last
Bev Turner did a good job as well. I just want to give her a shout out. I don't want to be unfair. Sorry, Eunice.
One last thing is that I don't really understand what their end game is. Why is the mainstream media, such as BBC, trying to vilify these people? I really don't get it. And they try to support the pro-Palestinian movement, and they try to vilify these people. Isn't this country still 80% white anyway? And I just think that our institutions, such as the BBC and other mainstream media outlets, have been hijacked by these neo-Marxist, neoliberal people, where to the point that anything that is nationalist, they see it as a racist, but anything that's, it's like a globalist movement or it's like colored. I didn't even see people, like Black Lives Matter. They broke into buildings, they vandalized statues and everything. And the BBC wasn't saying anything. Even they went to the Churchill statue and they wrote, he was a racist. The guy that basically defeated the Nazis, the biggest, and if he didn't, we would have been living in a racist society. And the media wasn't covering even the Black Lives Matter movement, and these people were vandalizing and burning shops and vandalizing everything. And I just don't understand what is their motive here. Why is the mainstream media try to vilify patriots, but at the same time tries to protect the violent minorities?
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk, and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.